come to the bold analysis. Jeremiah Kioni, the Jubilee Party Secretary General, is raising what to me is an alarming, worrying news to this country, that their bodies being dumped in Mount Longonot as families cry for justice. And I hold my opinion, the country cannot go casual about the mass graves in the forest. It is a trend that we must tread a little bit careful about. And I want to tell you in this podcast why the country cannot go silent. The country must be very careful on mass graves that are now being established in the forest. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and like our videos. Thank you very much for supporting this channel. Subscribe. Subscription is absolutely free. But the advantage here is when you subscribe to a channel, you'll be getting notifications whenever we publish our videos. And also we encourage you to visit our Bold Foundation channel, because through that, you are going to get more updates. Ladies and gentlemen, today, the 8th day of September is a bad day. I have received just a report now that 16-year-old boy, Steve, has died. May God rest his soul in peace. We helped Steve here in July. This boy was seeing, so tulimpelekea your wheelchair. He had a challenge. So after all the tests, he was to be put on some 6 months education where we were still supporting. So this was like our 3rd month. According to the family, he had some anxiety attack, then akapelekwa hospitali. It was to pneumonia, and he went to ICU and lost the battle. So I will update you more about that in future. That's the bad news we have, and we really rallied. We tried our part. We did our part, and may God stand with this boy. God stand with the family at this time. Just lost the mother this year. In April, we supported the mother. We supported the boy. We've also lost the boy. And as a foundation, we are forced to close the file. We'll come back to you with more updates about that boy. I really feel, because we really invested emotions and we really wanted that boy to walk. But God decided he should walk in heaven. Back to the analysis. When Gathoni Mushomba questioned the casual manner in which government handled the Kware bodies, the biased Speaker Wetangula suspended Gathoni Mushomba and ejected her out of the assembly to miss 20 sittings.
Honorable Mushomba.
Honorable Speaker, I have listened to what the Cabinet Secretary have to say concerning the cases of the ladies that he confirms that were properly matched with their relatives, and they were confirmed that they were murdered by the suspect who disappeared. But Mr. Speaker, I refuse to sit in this house to listen to the Cabinet Secretary confirm that his ministry cannot be able to capture suspects who were previously under their arms and custody. I refuse to sit in this house, Mr. Speaker, to listen to that kind of an explanation.
You are already sitting in this house.
Yes, I'm refusing to listen to the answer he's giving. It is not right for the Cabinet Secretary to come to answer a question and tell us that the suspect disappeared and is not giving us hope. Which hope is he telling the people, the victims? What hope is he promising? Is he telling us that we are going to wait for the suspect to disappear forever? It has been 3 months since the suspect disappeared, Mr. Speaker. Those are families that are paining, grieving loved ones. We watch on television bodies being retrieved from Kware, this dump site, Mr. Speaker. The minister cannot come here and tell us that he wants members of public to help him identify suspect who was previously in their custody. As a woman leader, as a mother of girls, I refuse to take that kind of an answer from the cabinet secretary.
Thank you. Yes, Lel Mengit.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
This was the statement. And this was in reaction to a statement from Murkomen, where Murkomen was asking members of public to help them arrest. There was a guy, there's this gentleman here. This gentleman was arrested in connection to the quarry bodies. And then he was locked up somewhere in Gigiri police station. Only for a month later, a report to emerge that he escaped from the prison. And you know the country, and you know the government got away with it. He was not presented in any court of law. So you can see the way quarry bodies was handled, and that file, they will say investigations are going on, but nothing, no update. So our history on how government responds to these mass graves is a worrying one. And that is why the report from Jeremiah Kioni cannot be taken lightly. The guy disappeared. I even saw Sakaja today saying that, you know, these thugs that are harassing people in town, members of public should arrest them. I'm still wondering how. We should get worried. Let me tell you, I have a story here. Families are struggling to file cases against government after the extrajudicial executions of their kids because there is this document called Post-Moterm report. The Post-Moterm ndio inaonyesha venye mtu alikufa. That document, several parents are struggling to get hold of that document. And because the state is withholding it, the plan to file cases, that plan is scuttled by the absence of post-mortem report. And it is very clear that someone is sitting on that document and is not willing to give it. So that is why, because, you know, remember, the question is about who are these people? And I'm going to look at that. Today, this was the statement from Jeremiah Kioni. He was alleging to some bodies dropped at Mount Longonot, and there was a plan for Nairobi City Mortuary to also float some bodies there.
And moving on, days after President William Ruto formed a commission geared at fast-tracking the compensation of victims who were affected during the Gen Z demonstrations last year, the opposition is now raising speculation over the move. Speaking in Kiambaa during a memorial service, Jubilee Party Secretary General Jeremiah Kioni lifted the lid by calling for investigations over claims that there were bodies dumped at Mount Longonot over a week ago, where a lorry that was used to ferry the same allegedly got stuck. Bulldozers were sent to assist in evacuating it from the scene. Kioni further said that there were plans by City Mortuary to dump over 295 bodies, which were said to be unclaimed, despite most parents protesting that their children had been missing.
County government in Nairobi, they want to dispose of 295 bodies, unclaimed, unknown, something that has never happened since 1963. And we think that what Ruto is doing is this commission that he is forming, that he is talking about, compensation commission. It is meant to cover up the fact that we have very many bodies in our mortuaries that have not been claimed. And we also have very many parents who still cannot account for their lost kids. This is after the extrajudicial killings, after the abductions, all those things. So we in the oppositions must remain focused, kwa sababu Ruto atatucheza tukianza marubano ya kuulizana nani atakuwa mkubwa kuliko ule mwingine. The truth of the matter is that Kenyans have decided on the person they would want to lead them from the opposition.
Number one, to be fair, I think Jeremiah Kioni should go beyond making the statement. Just get journalists, just to walk with them to that place. Let us get footages, and those are no stories in the vacuum. There is no story in the vacuum. Let us get footages, let us see. Instead of just making a roadside statement there. It should not just be something that just gets, and I insist, we cannot go casual about that. The public cannot treat these cases casual because the state is doing it. The state is taking those cases very casual. So for someone in the caliber of Jeremiah Kioni, a lawyer and a secretary general of a once ruling party, I think he can do better. Remember, there is a latest story about Shakahola Season 2.
Graves to be exhumed. The exercise continues on Friday.
Until we finish the exercise.
Sisi wote kuhakikisha kwamba tumefanya hii kazi mpaka tumalize. Wananchi wenzangu hapa tumeongea na hawa kwamba watatusaidia wakati wanatembea kwa hii msitu. Wakipata pahali wana suspect kuna mili, tunaomba sana tusaidiane. Na ningependa niseme kwamba hapa inachungwa na askari. It's a cadet area. Kuna police officers watakuwa hapa throughout mpaka tumalize hii kazi yetu.
The efforts that have been put in place by the government to fast track this process so that they begin the exhumation process expeditiously. We've seen 5 bodies retrieved. I think one of the bodies was fresh, while the rest of the bodies seem to have been there for quite some time.
To health matters, the Kenyan National Union of Nurses.
Listen, and I've been wondering. We had Shakahola Season 1. We sent Mackenzie in the jail. We still have Season 2. Most of us question how over 100 bodies could be locked somewhere. And there were stories about these people were stabbed to death and cult and all that. We still have another Season 2 in the same, close to Shakahola. And then you're still saying that it is still the same cult story. Come on. The public must actually think outside the box, because otherwise the government is carrying the box and getting away with it. So, you see, and since this happened, this is human life. I'm yet to see CS Murkomen commenting about it. Not even the PS for Interior, Raymond Omolo, commenting about it. Even making a trip to Kilifi on some fact-finding mission. Or even the police bosses making their way to Kilifi. And that story has been given a very low profile. It cannot be normal that within a span of 2 years, more than 100 bodies were retrieved in Shakahola. Some skulls and skeletons are still gathering dust in Malindi Mortuary. And then now we still have another case where the same story of mass graves, and we're still talking about cult. And for me, it is worth noting that most of unclaimed bodies in mortuaries, I think there was a report by Kenyan, that most of unclaimed bodies are male, number one. Number two, They are male of middle age. Male of middle age. And there is always this labeling, and very good, one of the Baswaji, who's a member of this channel, working in one of the facilities in the country, was telling me that, Kevin, do you know there is nothing called unclaimed body? Hakuna kitu kama unclaimed body. Why? Unclaimed body is a general profile, is a labeling word used to evade profiling the deceased. Because even if police ameokota mtu mahali in place X, police should actually have a report that on that X, at this time, while we were patrolling this, we found this body ikiwa hivi, na tukachukua tukaleta. Lakini the moment a deceased goes and is said unclaimed body, that story behind, hata kama ni polisi alileta, hata kama ni raia alileta, uwezi leta mwili pale, ukose kulizwa swali, ukose kupeana report. So the guy was telling me, Kevin, there is nothing like unclaimed body. Unclaimed is only in the sense that hakuna mtu, maybe sasa watu hao hawajapatikana, sasa hakuna mtu amekuja kumchukua. But it cannot be, unclaimed is not anonymous. Hiyo report kuja peane, alipelewa hapa, alipatikana hapa, ilikuwa hivi. Now, that is the report, and it's also in the law that post-mortem should be done. And post-mortem does not mean upasuaji ya kutoa. It can also be just what you saw. Writing what you saw can also be a report on that. And that report is normally kept. So, why the country must be careful with the forest graves. And if we're not careful, we are actually quoting a disaster. Let me give you a short story. Do you know in this country, in Lake Nakuru, there is always this story of Brian Odhiambo, the fisherman who alishikwa na polisi. After kushikwa, an eyewitness was actually telling the court last week that alimuona akirushwa kwa gari ya polisi, akiwa amefungwa miguu na mikono. The story of Odhiambo is very deep. I remember at one point, even the widow and the mother confronted Waziri Murkomen when Murkomen was in Nakuru, asking Murkomen to make sure, and Murkomen promised to address the matter. Now, when police went to court, the police told the court that huyo mtu mwenye alikuwa kwa gari aliruka akapotea in the forest. But at the same time, some insider took the mother to the forest, akamuonyesha some small grave mali mtoto wake alizikwa. Some informer. You know. So a story of graves in the forests, Kenyans, I don't think it's something to take lightly. Not something to take lightly. Why? Because of these three reasons. Number one, it is in the interest of Kenya Kwanza administration to suppress extrajudicial executions. Those cases. Number one, those cases stir emotions. Those cases bring the memories of J24, J25. And those cases are also documented as evidence for human rights violations by international criminal justice. So they don't want all that to come out. And that's why those cases are a target. So, and you know, the danger of it is this. When you listen to the way some good Kenyans are clapping and chatting two-term, you even wonder, according to them, things are just normal. No one is in those meetings. No one is even thinking, huyu si ndio alikuwa anasema vijana washutiwe mguu. Huyu sasa si ndio alikuwa defend police after police wameua vijana. You know, and the public is made to think everything is just fine and it's normal, and that was part of it. Number 2. All the investigation apparatus are compromised by design. Do you expect any investigation to produce any report that will convict anyone, that will jail anyone? Do you expect? From who? From IPOA? From who? From DPP? From DCI? Hakuna kama hiyo. All of them are compromised. If DIG Lagat, a chief complainant, and Inspector General of Police told the country the complainer against late Albert Ojwang was DIG Lagat, and Lagat is still in office, do you expect investigations on anything? And that was broad daylight. Imeleta shida mpaka ikaleta protest in the country. Do you expect anything? Lastly, the youth revolt, Gen Z, is a big threat to the political establishment, and they can stop at nothing to make sure that it's stalled. Thank you.